Shavua Tov, Boker Tov. Good morning, everybody, right here in Rechavia, Nachlaot, and in Yerushalayim, and all around. Thank you so much for joining us for this special class, especially as we launch for the new week this special subject of the names of Hashem, Havaya, and Elokim. In short, what we learned last week was that the name Havaya, Yud and a Hey and a Vav and a Hey, represents G-dly, revelation, giving, as opposed to Shem Elokim, which is also one of Hashem's names. And Shem Elokim, the name of Elokim, means restraint and the opposite of revelation. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but generally speaking, Shem Havaya versus Shem Elokim, that's the signon, the type that each one has. Now, within Shem Elokim itself, we asked a question. The Rebbe Rashab asked a question. The question is that seemingly, if we say that Shem Elokim represents the Keli, the vessel, and that's restraint, so how can you say, as it says, we learned it earlier, that Shem Elokim is also revelation? And the explanation that the Rebbe Rashab said was true, that it's also revelation, but it's not the same type of revelation as Shem Havaya is. Shem Havaya is the essential revelation, is the revelation of Hashem himself. Shem Elokim is a much lower level revelation, because Shem Elokim had the constraint and condensed the great level of light that Shem Havaya had. That gives the possibility for those that are on a lower level to be able to receive light of Hashem, even though it's not on such a great level, because if it was, then they would never be able to retain this great intensity of Hashem's existence, Hashem's essence. So we are approximately 12 or 13 lines down from the top. It's the fourth word in, umikol zeh. This is an abbreviation. Umikol zeh yuvan, from all this is understood, lamala, above, in a higher realm, bekelim da'atzilut, in the vessels of atzilut, that on one hand, she'em ma'alimim al etzem ha'or. On one hand, they conceal on the essence of the light. And on the other hand, umegalim rak chitzoniyuto, they reveal only his external part of the light. And it goes hand in hand. Because they conceal, they condense the essence of the light, therefore the only level of light that they can give off, broadcast, is the chitzoniyut, is the external part of the light. V'dafka k'shema'alimim al ha'ora pnimi v'ha'atzmi, only when we cover over the innermost light and the essentialmost light, az megalim chitzoniyut ha'or, then we're able to reveal the external part of the light, lif'ol pu'ulatam kanal b'nefesh. Lif'ol pu'ulatam, that they should be able to be active. Kanal b'nefesh, like we talked earlier about the soul. We talk about the kochot nefesh, the energies of the mind or of the vision. Because the eyeball is able to contain within itself, Hashem made it should be catered for the eye power to be able to see. Therefore, those that want to see through it, they're able to condense it. But before the energy of the eye of the vision came into the eyeball, then no one would be able to see. If it came into the ear would not be able to see, because it's not the right keli. Because the eyeball is the right keli for the great blessing of Hashem of being able to see, therefore we're able to see through that. V'lachein nikra Shem Elokim, and therefore it's called the name of Elokim, shu b'chinat midat hadin v'atzimtzum. It's the idea of din, of judgment, and tzimtzum, and condensing. L'tzamtzim u'lahalim ha'or, to condense and to conceal the light, and therefore it seems to be as if Shem Elokim is plural. but not chas v'shalom that Hashem is plural. It's just that the effect that it has through working through midat hadin is that Hakadosh Baruch Hu comes through to the world in a way that it's broken down because the light itself is condensed. It's not the way, the original way that we see the essence of Hashem. And now he's going to say it doesn't, not only by Hashem Elokim, v'chein kol ha'alamot v'astirim shebe'olamot, so too all of the concealments of the light, of the worlds, v'heim ha'parsaot v'amasichim ha'mavdilin bein kol olam ve'olam, the different levels of tzimtzum and curtains and divisions between worlds, all of these, all of the above are a similar concept of the light of Hashem being able to come down to a lower level, and then a lower level, and then a lower level, through the different types of tzimtzum. Uba'olam atzmo, up until now we said between worlds, but in the world itself, kemo parsa Shabbat zilut, shebein parsa shebein mochin l'mitot. Within every world we have another tzimtzum, many tzimtzumim, different types of tzimtzumim. All of the purpose of all of this is in order that Hashem's light should be in this world. It can't be in its entire glory. When Mashiach comes, then Hashem's light will be here in its entire glory. But in the meantime, we need to be able to connect to Hashem. So the only way to do that is through tzimtzumim, parsaot, all the different types of condensing and tzimtzumim. For example, bein mochin l'midot, between the three higher levels of intellect and the emotion. We know that there are 10 sfirot, 3 intellect, Chabad, Chachma, Bin, and Dat, and then the seven levels of emotion. So the 7 levels of emotion is on a lower level than the 3 intellect. So basically, in summary, we have the idea of the parsa, the tzimtzum between the 3 higher levels and the 7 lower levels. And then we continue. Uparsa mafseket ben atzilut lebriya. Wow, that's a big tzimtzum. You see, atzilut is considered all spiritual. On one hand, we call the world there are 4 spiritual worlds: atzilut, briya, yetzira, asiya. Generally speaking, they're all called worlds, but atzilut is considered the highest world. It's considered an all-spiritual world. You can even look at it that it's not even a world. It's an all-spiritual entity, just for lack of another way how to refer to it. There are 2 indications in the fact that in the word Atzilut. You know, the Baal Shem Tov always says, you want to understand something, you look at the name itself. So, Atzilut, one interpretation of the word Atzilut is from the word Eitzel, near, close to it. Close to him. It's close to Hashem. It's so high that it's all spiritual. It's close to him. Another way of understanding Atzilut is also alluded in the word. Atzilut is from the word Ha'atzala, with an aleph in there. Hey aleph, tzadik lamed hey. Ha'atzala, laha'atzil, lahafrish, to take off a piece. You know, we say when we do the challah baking, so you take off a piece of the dough, and the bracha is lahafrish challah, to take off a piece of challah. So lahatzil is in the same meaning of lahafrish. So can you imagine what is atzilut? Hatzalah. We're taking a piece, so to speak. It's not physical, but in our minds, in our finite minds, that's how we can understand it. That's how we can interpret it. So what is atzilut? It's a piece, so to speak, of Keter or Hashem. I'm not sure exactly how to say it because I don't know how these things are how they work, but it's basically a portion, a piece of godliness. So it's almost literal godliness. It's unbelievable. We have an example when we have the story in the Torah of Moshe and the 70 Sanhedrin, and Eldad u'Meidad mitnabim b'machaneh. Eldad u'Meidad, they they were saying prophecy. And so Hashem said, "Vayatzel min haruach asher alecha," that that the other prophets took off a portion. The word vayatzel is from the same word of atzilut. They took off a portion from prophecy from Moshe to them. Obviously, it's not like a scissors that you cut off a piece of prophecy. It's all spiritual, but the idea remains the same, just like atzilut. Atzilut is all spiritual, to the extent that in Chassidus it says, Lo yigur chara. When we say in the Tehillim that there will not be any bad with Hashem, Hashem is purely good, that refers to the world of Atzilut. It's all spiritual. So that's the first one. That's the world of Atzilut. It's all spiritual. Then you have the three worlds of Bria, creation, Yetzirah, formation, and Asiya, deed. These are all spiritual worlds. Then we have the Gashmiyut, the physical Asiya. And these are all levels in how the world becomes more and more physical and sometimes even coarse in order to bring the light of Hashem to this world. Now, when we talk about Bria, Yetzirah, and Asiya, then you could understand a little more about the whole idea of the Tzimtzum, because we're talking about the Tzimtzum, we're talking about worlds, and within world you could understand that you have Parsa, you have the different levels of condensing and minimizing in order that we should be able to give off a lower level of light. But here's the chidush, here's the innovation, that even in the world of Atzilut, even in the realm of the all spiritual realm of Atzilut, you're still able to have this concept of Tzimtzum. Obviously, the Tzimtzum and Atzilut in that world is totally different, much more refined, much more pure than the other levels of Tzimtzum in the lower worlds. But even in Atzilut, you have the idea of Parsa, of the Tzimtzum, and the Ha'alamot, the concealments, in order that Hashem's presence should be able to be felt, even if it's in a lower level, we should be able to be felt down here in this world, ultimately. So, Uparsam of second ben Atzilut L'Bria, you can only imagine that this thick level, the thick separation between this holy world of Atzilut and the next world of Bria is a major tzimtzum. U'ba'olam ha'Bria, and in the world of Bria itself, yesh parsaot hanal. We have parsaot, other tzimtzumim. V'chein bein Bria liYetzirah, and so too between the world of Bria and the world of Yetzirah. That's the second and third world. U'bein Yetzirah la'asiyah, and so too between the third and fourth world, Yetzirah, formation, and Asiya, deed. U'b'chol olam, in every world, yesh parsaot hanal. V'akol mishem Elokim. The source of all of these parsaot and tzimtzumim are all from the world of Atzilut. Are all from Shem Elokim. Shem Elokim, the name of Hashem, which brings forth all of these tzimtzumim is Shem Elokim. V'chol ha'giluyim sheba'olamot, but all of the revelations are from which name of Hashem? You guessed it right, Shem Havaya. Shem Havaya is all revelation, just reveal, reveal, reveal. Now, both of these are important, all of the above. It's important to have revelation, and it's important to have concealment. Each one in the right framework. Sometimes there has to be revelation, and that's when you want to encourage and you want to uplift. But sometimes there has to be limitation. Even in this week's Parsha, in Parashat Lech Lecha, we have the idea where the difference almost between Avraham and Yitzchak. Avraham was chesed, revelation. He was all chesed, just non-stop chesed, to the extent that it says in Chassidut for this week in the Torah or from the Alter Rebbe, it says that he was such a strong chesed that he said, Lu Yishmael Yichyeh lefanecha. Halavai, I wish. Hashem said, you're going to have a son. Another son. Not only Yishmael, you're going to have a son from Sarah. So Avram said, what do you mean? Halavai, I wish that Yishmael should live before you, quote unquote. In other words, that he should be successful and he should be the ultimate child. Hashem said, no, I'm sorry. He is who he is. You're going to have a son that's going to be considered your seed. It's going to be considered your ki beyitzchak yikarei lecha zara. Yitzchak is going to be considered your son. Yitzchak is going to be the ultimate successor from everything that you have and who you are. That's going to be Yitzchak. And so the fact that Avraham wanted that Yishmael should ultimately be the right one, that was something which that was definitely something which was far beyond what he should have said. He should have, Hashem said, you're going to have a son. That's fine. That showed that he wanted. It's not a bad thing to want for his son to be good, but the way Yishmael was then, he wasn't really befitting to be on that level, to be like Yitzchak. And therefore, Avraham had to understand that you might want to give, but sometimes you have to know when to stop. Sometimes you have to know the right. And so he was chesed. Avraham Avinu was pure chesed. Yitzchak, on the other hand, was gevura. And there had to be, in each scenario, there had to be a balance. There had to be a balance of the proper measure of chesed and the proper measure of gevura. And that's the message that we're trying to convey over here. We'll learn another line and a half. Ulefi anal, according to what we said earlier, Harei beit shemot, the havaya velokim em havchim zemizeh. Dezeh makor hagilui, v'zeh makor hester. So what's the bottom line that we've learned up until now for the last 1.5 pages? That havaya and elokim are two opposites. Havaya is chesed, giving, kindness, giving. And Shem Elokim, the name of Elokim of Hashem, is restraint. Even though it's through the restraint they were able to have a lower level of revelation, but we can all agree that it's not the same. Whether you say that Havaya is revelation and Elokim is restraint, or you say that Havaya is ultimate revelation and Elokim is a much lower level of revelation, I think we can all agree that Havaya Elokim is not the same. So why does the Zohar say we're back to square one that we started at the beginning of last week? So how do we say that Havaya and Elokim is kul achad, is all one? How can we say that? They're opposites. The echem kul achad. How can we say that they're all one? And in the answer that we're going to learn tomorrow, Bezrat Hashem, we talk about mibsari echze elokah, the way we understand ourselves. Hopefully we'll be able to understand the way it is by Hashem in His infinite sfirot. And so thank you very much for joining us. Bezrat Hashem, tomorrow morning right here on Zoom and Facebook Live. And tomorrow evening, a special lecture by Chanoch Rubel that's going to be giving a lecture in honor of his amazing insights and the teachings of Kabbalah. And we look forward to seeing you here. All the best. Be well.